you're trying to find, solace for your troubled mind. The one thing that will set you free is your authenticity.
I gotta live my life in a way that brings joy to my spirit, celebrates who I am, explores my divinity. Being true to myself helps me peel back the layers to reveal my true identity and unfold my authenticity. I live my life with no regard for the norm. Don't yield to the hype or the quiet storm. Divinely guided, living from the inside out. If you compromise my soul, I got to do without it. I'm in the world with something real to do, and I'm nothing if I can't be true. The only path for me is one of liberty, true justice and authenticity. I gotta live my life in a way that brings joy to my spirit, celebrates who I am, explores my divinity. Being true to myself helps me peel back the layers to reveal my true identity and unfold my authenticity. Significant others granted me a never do well, but I determined not to let another send me to hell. So I rose up before I froze up, though raising my head caused some to say I had my nose up. I did it my way, do or die way. Was never ever afraid to hit the highway. Holding on too long was not a problem for me because the goal in my soul. I gotta live my life in a way that brings joy to my spirit, celebrates who I am, explores my divinity. Being true to myself helps me peel back the layers to reveal my true identity.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are from. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the 5-day Authentic Voice Challenge. It is so nice to see you. I see so many beautiful smiling faces there. I am Norma Hollis. I am your authenticity guide, and I'm excited to bring you this 5-day Authentic Voice Challenge. Before we get started, take a minute and go to the chat box and tell us your name and where you're from. And I'd like you to answer, what is your biggest challenge when it comes to your authentic voice? What's your biggest challenge? And also, what did you hope to receive from this challenge? Why are you here? So if you put those comments there, I'm going to have Linda share them with me shortly. But I'd like to know what your thoughts are. What are your biggest challenges that you have as far as your authentic voice? And why are you here? What do you expect to receive from today? So while you're doing that, I want to introduce to you my team that's helping to help us put this together and will be helping us today on this journey. And it will be a journey. I first want to introduce Yuki, who is my virtual assistant. She is doing the back office work. And some of you who are on my team have not met her yet. So Yuki, just say hi for a minute so people can see your face and know that you exist. She has been helping me in many ways and has been very, very helpful. Yuki, please say hi. There she is.
Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Yuki's going to be monitoring our Facebook challenge, which we're going to be telling you about a little bit later, and doing all the back office work to make sure that things work well. And I secondly want to introduce you to Linda. Linda has been my right and left hand and my stool sometimes for the last 20 years, just about. So she is my operations manager now. She's done everything in the business except empty the trash cans. And I even had her do that, I think, a time or two. So Linda, please say hello.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the challenge. We're so excited to have you here.
Yes, yes, yes. So welcome. So I also want to give you a little bit of background information and tell you some of, not background, but what you have in store for you coming up in the next 5 days. First of all, I want you to know that there's a gift every day for some lucky winner. Now, you will earn your gift by your level of participation. And participation means notes in the chat box, questions, comments, feedback, whatever. Posting on the Facebook page. If you haven't done that yet, Yuki will put the Facebook link in the chat box. So you can join the Facebook and put your comments there. That's where we want you to make comments about the inventories and what you're going to be doing on the evening after our classes are over. And we also want you to post in social media using the hashtag Norma's Nuggets. And Yuki will put that in the chat box also. Norma's Nuggets is a term I use for the wisdom I've shared over the years and little pieces that I get. So if you get a piece of wisdom that you can use, particularly that, post that on Facebook and with the hashtag Norma's Nuggets. And also you can feel free to put it in the chat box as well. And what we're going to do is every day, the three of us, so first of all, you want to do all your posts by 10 o'clock in the evening. Every evening is a cutoff time for anything you want to put in Facebook to be included for your gift award possibilities. And then the three of us, my team, Yuki and Linda and I, will evaluate the participation on the previous day, and we'll announce each day's winner, a different gift every day. So you have to be present to win, and we'll be happy to share the gifts with you. So let's see. So with that, I'm going to tell you a little bit of the goals and why I'm here and what I intend on sharing with you and the value you're going to get today. So I want to give you understanding of why today it's difficult to connect with your authentic voice. We're all born with an authentic voice, but along the way we lose it. And sometimes we never get it back. We're going to be talking about that. Today, you're going to get an exercise every single day. And today's exercise is going to help you open up to yourself in ways maybe you haven't done before. So, okay, not for that right now, Yuki, we'll do that later, okay? Thank you, so thank you. So this is our first time doing this channel, so work with us for the little mix that we have, it's all right. So I wanna tell you about what my goals are. My goals for doing this 5 days and what I want you to do. And Yuki and Linda, which I ask you to mute everyone except for myself, please. So the goals are to give everyone, to begin to give you a experiential introduction to authenticity and what it means to use your authentic voice. You know, life is experience, it's experiential. We read a lot about life, we read a lot about authenticity, but I want to give you some things that are more experiential. I'll tell you about some research I had and people want to know, what does it feel like to be authentic? So it's going to be an experiential process to help you on this journey towards authenticity and your authentic voice. I want to take you to a higher level of knowing yourself and expressing your authentic voice. You know, there are so many levels to life. The older you get, the more you realize there are levels to life. You know, when you're young, you can't wait to be grown. And then when you're grown, it's like you realize how great it was to be young because you learn different levels. And as you get older, eventually it makes sense, but you have to live long enough for it to really make sense. Levels of wisdom, levels of learning, levels of authenticity. When you can jumpstart some of that and get authentic a lot earlier in your life, so you don't have those similar challenges you have when you have the confusion of not knowing. So I want to help bridge some of that gap. I want to help you connect more with your authentic voice, to know more what it means and how it talks to you, and help you like and understand yourself in brand new ways. So before I get into some of the more details I want to share, I want to ask Linda to share some of the comments from the chat box, please. If you unmute yourself first and share some of your comments.
Okay. Tasha's biggest challenge is getting my business off the ground.
Okay.
And another challenge from Cindy is being able to set boundaries, using the word no for my own self-care. That's a challenge. Lynn needs to be into a presentation live before anxiety diminishes so I can give myself fully. So she's dealing with anxiety before a presentation. Let's see. And Jennifer from Suriname, South America is here to learn to speak her authentic voice. And Barbara from Brazil, know how to come back to my authenticity. By then, stop comparison. How to receive some guidance to make that path with more easily every time I need it. Shelley has a conflict
Who's
So
that?
she has a conflict. It was a conflict as far as attendance.
Oh,
And then we have a hi from Buenos Aires and Cameroon.
oh,
So
good.
we have quite a diverse audience here.
Wonderful. Well, I'm glad I decided to have it at 9 in the morning so I can have so many more of you on the call. So welcome to all of you from wherever you are in the world. And over the 5 days, I will be answering all of your questions or addressing them in one way or another. There will be a fresh question every morning in the beginning of the program. So you want to be here early so that you can get the question and respond and share what your thoughts are. So let's get started with some information first about authenticity and your authentic voice and what it means. First of all, let me just say that I consider myself, and I've been told that I'm an expert in what it means to be authentic and authenticity. I studied authenticity for 30 years. A whole system of being authentic was pretty much channeled through me. And I took 30 years to receive it and then to 12 years to understand it and figure out how it works and what it does. So what I'm sharing with you today are kind of some initial steps to the process of authenticity. I have people that have been training with me for over 10 years, and it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper because as human beings, we don't even realize how deep we are. We're introduced to so much superficial stuff that we grab hold of before we realize the depth of who we are. But my job is to reintroduce you to your depth so that you see more about what authenticity is and really who you are and who you can be. And in my mind, to me, authenticity is freedom. Because the more I step into my own authenticity, the freer I feel, the less anxious I feel, the more confident I feel, the more connected I feel, the more in alignment I feel. And all of that, gives me great smiles and makes life a whole a lot less challenging than it was without that more confidence of it. So I want to translate that to you and transfer some of that to you and share with you some of the steps that I have taken over my life's journey to accept and come to a level of authenticity that I'm realizing now. So that's the challenge to you to step into your freedom. Now, I'm not saying these 5 days are going to make you totally free. Don't get it twisted. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's going to begin to open you up because the process people just say, just be authentic, like you can do it right away, but it is a process. It takes time. And that's why these 5 days are going to be step by step to begin to move you on that process and to free you from the demands of society. I refer to society a lot as a manufactured life. And it's one of the phrases I'm using a lot is helping people get beyond the manufactured life. Now, the manufactured life is the life that we step into because society leads us that way. So let me give you a scenario about what happens to your authenticity and your authentic voice. It happens to all of us in one way or another to different degrees. So we come into the world with some beautiful gifts and talents that were given to us by however it is that we got here. By the way, my degree is in child and family life sciences, so I understand child development. And that's how I started on this path with that degree in understanding human development and how human beings grow and develop. And what I learned when I directed preschool programs is that children come into the preschool classroom delighted to be there. The teachers say, come into the classroom, please. The room is set up, choose where you want to go. You want to finger paint? You want to play in the jungle gym? Do you want to do the music? You want to go to dramatic play? What is it you would like to do? And by the way, if you have to go to the bathroom, just please, it's over here. This is how you do this is where you go when you need to go. And children love it and they begin to express themselves. Then they get home and their parents get off work. And you know how you are when you're off work, you're tired, you have to cook dinner, you have to get things prepared for the next day. And you really want a little peace and quiet. And then that little preschool child starts singing the top of their head, or they start yakety yak, yak, yakking, or they start beating on something because they love music. And all you can think is just, please be quiet. And you probably say, would you please not talk so loud or not sing or take another room or just shut up? Whatever it is that comes out by the mood that you're dealing with at the time. And what happens to the enthusiastic child who loves to sing or play or dance or whatever? you start backing up. You back up, because this is making mommy or daddy upset. So I better not do that so much. And then it happens often enough that the child, not understanding what life's about and not understanding all of that, just understanding their feelings and what they love to do that they're now being prohibited from doing, they start being a little bit less authentic. Then they get to kindergarten and first grade, and rather than come in and play, it's like, sit in your chair, stand in line to go to the bathroom, raise your hand, hold it till I tell you you can go, get in the controlled environment, get in the environment that society says you have to live in. Now, I'm not saying we don't need structure in society. We definitely need that. But what happens to so many of us is we get in that structure and we stay in it so long that we find ourselves in the cubicles in our workplaces that look just like the desks we were in when we were in school. And when it comes time for us to choose a career, we take the advice of the well-meaning adults who have no clue what life's going to be like 20 or 40 years from now. And we do whatever the fast thing is right now. When I was coming up, it was computers. Get into computers. You definitely will have a job if you don't like computers. So that's how the manufactured life happens. It doesn't happen by anyone's ill meaning or just not doing what they think is best for you. It's what society has created to make you believe this is the way you're going to have a happy life. And then by the time you get 40 or 50 and the kids are going off to school and you've been working long enough to know that this is no way what you expected the work world to be like. It wasn't, especially probably not what you did for your career in, your degree in. And then the relationship you've been in or in and out of is not the Cinderella relationship that they told you. And you're like, well, what the heck? What am I supposed to do now? I'm 40, 50 years old. I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 more years to do. I don't want to do it in the way and the rut I was in before that I created for myself. I don't want to manufacture life. Well, if you're at that place, you're in the right spot because I help you get past the manufactured living and help you step more into authentic living that is aligned with the gifts and talents that you shared freely, probably when you were a preschooler, but may very well have gotten subdued over the years. The person that you wanted to be, the job and career you wanted to step in, but you were moved away from it for whatever reason or whatever purpose. And even to the point of getting the courage to speak up and to say what's on your mind and what you want in the world, even if it means asking for a raise or asking for something that you otherwise may not been comfortable doing. All of that is stepping into your authenticity, using your authentic voice, connecting with the freedom that authenticity offers you. And that's what I'm here to connect with you and to help you move to a new level of happiness and joy and to be your authentic self, regardless of the demands that society puts on you. There are ways to deal with that that allows you to grow and stay into your authentic self. And I say also that authenticity in your authentic voice brings you joy and abundance. And that's what I want to help you to see and to achieve and arrive at also. So I want to tell you a little bit about my experience to get into authenticity before I give you this exercise I'm going to share with you. But my journey has been coming from a very traditional family and being the only highly creative one in that family. My mother was a teacher, my dad was a dentist, and they had a very structured way of living and a very specific view of what their children should be when they become adults. And for me, as a Black woman in America, my mother thought the best thing for me to do was to go to historically Black school, not for the education, but to meet the men that are there. So I'd get a husband who has a really good job. And that way I'd be set for life, as she says she was, but she wasn't happy. So that's a different story. And by the time I was 28, I had done all those things, the husband, the jobs, the cars, all that. And I was miserable. And I didn't know what to do with myself because I didn't know who I was. And that's when my journey to authenticity began. And I spent actually 30 years figuring out, well, who the heck am I? What does it mean to be human? How do I do this? How do I live my authentic life? How do I be my authentic self? I didn't use those words, and I had no idea it would take 30 years. But in the process, I had a speaker bureau. I was actually the first Black woman to own a speaker bureau for Black speakers. So I've always been pretty much of a pioneer. But I just didn't know what to do. I had to go figure out, who am I? How do I live this life? How do I exist in this world? Where do I belong? It took me a long time to figure that, because I learned that I am a pioneer, and therefore I see the world a little bit differently. And along with that, I had ear problems. I had ear infections in my ear for 55 straight years. And 40 of those years, I took antibiotics. And by the time I was having my speaker bureau, and actually by the time I decided I wanted to be a speaker, when I left my work as in the preschool field, I couldn't travel because all the antibiotics caused a health challenge in me that changed the whole ecology of my body. And that's when I started my bureau, because I figured I could help other people do that. But anyway, all of those, then more that I'll tell you about down the road, led me to understand authenticity in a new way and to be able to teach it to other people. And so that's what I want to do with you. So I'm going to give you your first exercise. It's in 3 parts. And you might find it kind of silly, and it's perfectly all right, but it's a lot of fun. And I want you to practice the things that I'm sharing with you. Now, if you are in an environment where you are by yourself, that's great, because you'll be able to do everything I ask you to do. If you are in an environment where you are with other people, if they know you well and it's not a professional environment, hopefully you can still do the exercise. If you are in a business environment, you don't want to do this exercise, but you can do it in your mind. And then the inventory you're going to get at the end of every class, at the end of every day, by noon, you're going to get the exercise, the inventories for the day. The inventories will take you deeper into you. The work that I do is to take inventory of yourself. So and I have a lot of exercises and activities. One of the reasons that my view of authenticity is what it is because unlike other people, because I had so much health issues with so many antibiotics and other problems, I couldn't live like other people. By the time I was 35, pretty much, I had to go on my own because I didn't have the energy to do what other people do, just driving to work, just wear me out. I get home from work and I just have to lay on the couch. And I really didn't have much energy to do much of anything. So I had to figure out, how do I create a lifestyle for myself that allows me to be myself, be authentic, not have to do the workaday world, not have to be in the big mix of society, and still be meaningful and understand my authenticity and share my authentic voice. And that's what I've successfully done, and I'm excited to share. So as I research and evaluate how can I help others, here's the first step. So as I said, the exercise is in 3 steps. So the first one you're going to do is called gibberish. So you know how children come into the world and they're just talking. Their eyes are bright and lit up all the time. Linda has a brand new baby, new grandson, a new granddaughter on the way. And she has watched the gibberish come and go as they go from gibberish to talking. But the beginning it's just gibberish. It's just, well, we don't know what it is, really. Maybe they're talking to spirits. Maybe they're talking to where they came from. My philosophy is they're getting instructions about what they're to do here on the world, and they're just listening and getting feedback. But whatever it is, they haven't researched that to the point that they're telling us children do gibberish. And I want to take you back to doing some gibberish. Now, what gibberish means is you're just speaking sound. You're letting sound just flow out of your mouth without thought. So some people, when I do this exercise, they put the intellect to it and they start repeating some words or doing some words over and over again. But I just want you to free flow and let gibberish come out of your mouth and do it for a minute. Now, I'm not going to do it for a minute, but I'm going to explain, I'm going to share with you and role model what it is you're going to do when I tell you to start. You're going to do gibberish. You're just going to make sound. Something like that. Okay, you can get expressive with it. You can get loud with it if you're in the environment. You can get soft with it, but not like as a goop, as a goop, as a goop, as a goop. Not like that. Not where you're repeating and you're thinking about it, but just free flow. So give it a minute time. I'm gonna time my timer on, and I want you to feel what a minute is doing gibberish. And I want you to allow yourself to just be very, very, very free and to start right now. Go. Okay, stop. Did you laugh as much as I did? Put a couple of your put a couple of comments in the chat box. How'd that make you feel? Was it hard to do? Was it easy? Were you able to really let go and let voice, let spirit just take control and let go of you? It's silly, hilarious. It felt natural. Go ahead, Muriel. It's silly, you, Jennifer. Thank you. Fiona said it was amazing. What was amazing about it? Like speaking to your son. Yeah, I can tell you do have that young baby at the house. Very funny. Your stomach turns. Not easy. You're right. It was hard to keep it going. I looked at my clock. It was just 10 seconds. Had 50 seconds more to go. Made you laugh? Yes, I laughed a lot too. Fun. It felt a little silly. Fun and creative flow is exactly what it was. Creative flow. That's what we lose so much in the flow of life. In the manufactured life, you lose your flow. Authenticity is getting back in the flow. So now you have a sense of what it feels like to get back in the flow. And that's part of what authenticity is about, getting back in the flow. So let's see, Darcy, you got to warn me before you start that my sons and used to have conversations like that. We did it up until he was 12. It was your special fun. Modulating your voice and tone was a lot of fun. Speakers would say that Muriel's a speaker, so modulating your voice was fun, and I did that as well. And communicating with you on a different, in a sense, higher level. Yeah, Agatha, I felt that too. I did feel the connection. So that exercise is a great one to do with your children. The younger they are, the more fun it is. The older they are, the more it helps them connect to their creative flow. Because imagine how they get out of their creative flow as they're more and more in the manufactured life. As adults, we at least have the chance to see what happens as we get older. When you're young, you don't know. You don't even know what tomorrow might be like. When we get older, we know what the next 5 or 10 years is probably going to be like. We've lived long enough. So it's harder for us as we're older to get into the flow. So for the teenagers, the 10, 11, 12, great exercise for them to help them remember to stay in the flow, to be creative. And it's also a great idea if there's an argument about to happen, start the gibberish, changes the energy, brings the flow, brings more authenticity, brings it back to its core. Gibberish, it's a phenomenal thing. So that's exercise number 1. You're going to practice that tonight, all day and tonight, so you can do it for 3 minutes and keep it up and just see what happens. 2 more you're going to do. Now, the next one is to do it on a silly subject. And this allows you to open up your creativity in another kind of way. So by a silly subject, I mean, in your exercise I have you do tonight, you're going to close your eyes and point your finger and make a quarter turn or a half turn. And whatever you're pointing at when you finish turning, you're going to talk about it for a minute. Just let it flow. And you're going to get that going to 3 minutes. You're going to do that 3 or 4 times in your inventory, in your homework. and you're going to let it flow. So I would like you to put a few things in the, I'm going to cover up the chat box, and I want you to put a few items, subjects, anything you want in the chat box. And when I uncover the chat box, or I'll just get Linda to tell me something. Just give me one of the things they put in the chat box, and I will speak on that, a silly subject, for a minute. I'll do my timing, and I'll do it for a minute again. And let's put anything you can think of at all. Now that Linda knows me, she's going to have fun making the choice what I'm going to say, talk about for a minute, because she's done this and seen this before. So let's see what she comes up with. Tell me when you're ready, and I'll push the start button as soon as you tell me what it is. Oh, she likes it. She can be in control now. So
I'm having a hard time.
that are choices?
Yeah, I'm drawn between two.
All right.
Okay, you ready?
Whatever you say.
Tiara.
Tiara. I'm not even sure what tiara means. I think it means like a crown on your head, you know. And I've seen many different crowns on your head. I've seen some where, you know, it's like huge and goes up. And I've seen others that are round. As a matter of fact, I was on a call about last month sometime, and there was a guy that put a tiara on he was the person that was doing it. He was one of their students. And so he put that tiara on his head. I just laughed and laughed and laughed. I've never really, you know, I don't think I've ever had a tiara on my head. You know, some people wear one for their birthday. I have some girlfriends that do that, and they always wear tiaras for birthdays, and the tiaras match the dress. They're really cute with it. And, you know, they wear tiaras when you become Miss America or Mrs. America, or when you do certain prizes. But, you know, I think I might get a tiara. What if, you know, I do a lot of games sometimes. And also for Halloween, I wear wigs sometimes, but I'm gonna get a tiara. Linda, we're gonna have to get a tiara for the next Halloween party we have for the Midwest girls, because I gotta have one. I've never had one. I'm gonna get one orange one. Gotta find an orange tiara. That's what I'm gonna do. That's a minute. Okay. So you see the idea. I mean, who would have known? Thanks, Cindy. I see you clapping. Thank you. You don't know where you're gonna go with it. You're opening yourself up. You're getting rid of all the stuff and the structure you picked up in your manufactured life that you find yourself living in. And you're stepping more into you and connecting more. You don't know where it's going. Who knew I would end with the orange tiara? Well, I might have known that if I thought, because I love orange. But what a route to get to it. You never know what's stuck up in you. You have so much knowledge in your mind, so much experience in your soul. It gets lost in the manufactured life. When you're into your authentic voice and your authentic self and your authentic living, you get past all that. You raise up the level of creativity and step into your purpose. Why are you grinning, Linda? I see you grinning. I can get a tiara from the dollar store. Yours is turquoise. Let me look at some of these. Oh, I see martinis, fall leaves. I see why you have it. Women love control. Yes. Break dance. That would have been interesting. Balloons popping. So what you're going to do this evening in your homework is you're going to do about 4 rounds of speaking in something silly. So you can do this also with your children. Great, great ways to help your children step in their creativity. And have them pick a subject and you talk about it. Or you pick a subject and let them talk about it. Either way it goes, let it happen. Allow the freedom of authenticity to be a part of who you are, and let it step into and allow you to raise yourself to new levels and new heights. So now on to the third part of the exercise. And the third part is the one that's a little bit more serious. Well, no, not yet. First, I need you to practice for a minute. I need you to, okay, Linda, you pick something else, or you pick something, and you're gonna tell everybody else. I did mine, so we're gonna reset my timer. And I'm just gonna watch you, if you're on camera, I'm gonna watch your mouth moving. And you're going to get a chance to talk for a minute on a silly subject that Linda's going to tell you what it is, and just as soon as she decides what she wants to share.
Can giraffes swim?
What's that?
Can giraffes swim?
Okay, start. 1 minute. Can giraffes swim? Start talking to yourself, talking out loud. Can giraffes swim? Can giraffes swim? Just start talking. Oh, I see. Okay, stop. Good, 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 good. Now give me some comments on how that felt and tell me what you might have learned when you did that. Is it something you discovered brand new? Linda, you want to share some of the comments?
I'm seeing in the comments that people can't hear. So I'm thinking, are they saying they can't hear you? I can hear you.
I wasn't saying anything when you guys were talking. I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, maybe you were moving your lips and they thought that you were talking.
Oh, Lynn wants to know if giraffes really can swim. Oh, you hear me now? I wasn't saying anything before.
Okay.
They can swim in deeper water. I love it.
They can swim so they can get to the other side. Yeah. I use my arms a lot when I was speaking. Not many places to swim. Giraffes can swim, but in super deep water. They have those necks. I really want to know if giraffes can swim. I'll Google it. Good old Google.
And Cindy found herself looking for a logical explanation. That's interesting because you want to let go. The idea of this is to let go of the logic, because society, we're born with, in my early childhood, on the right side of our brain. The right side is the creative side. Children are very creative to begin with. And then we teach them the left side. So the left side is when you learn how to read and write. And that's where the more logical side comes in. And so we get stuck over here on the left side, and authenticity means you balancing left and right brain a little bit more. So let go of the logic. So work on letting go of the logic and stepping into who you are and stepping into listening to that creative side. So now the third part of this exercise, and I will talk on this, is to talk on your subject. So when you've done the gibberish, you've freed up a little bit, got a little more creative. You practice on a silly subject, so your brain has now opened up a little bit more to creativity. Now you talk about your subject. And in your subject, what you want to do, you may want to record it when you talk about your own subject, because you may say some things, or you may go around like I did on the Orange Tiara and learn some things in the process that are going to be important for your presentation, for knowing who you are, for gaining more confidence. These exercises will help with anxiety because you'll be more creative and be more confident in yourself. It'll help you speak your authentic voice more because you'll be able to hear it, especially when you record, when you talk about your own topic. It'll also help you connect more with your core, because in your creativity, it'll take you back a little bit to your history when you lost some of your creativity and knowing what your core is, and bring you back into it. And a lot of this will happen when you talk about your particular subject. So my topic is authenticity. So now I'm going to do, and I can talk for days on authenticity, so we don't need much of practice, but I'm gonna do it anyway to exercise. And I'm gonna do it for a minute. What you're gonna end up doing in your inventories is doing it for 5 minutes. That's when you know you really have stepped into it. But I'm going to talk for 1 minute on authenticity, just to role model the activity. So I'm going to start now. Authenticity is something I've been studying for years. I mean, who knew it would take 30 years to talk about authenticity? And now it's so popular in society. And guess what? I got a whole program on authenticity. I can't wait to share it with the world. But sharing it with the world has been kind of challenging, because how do you define authenticity? Everybody got a different name for it. Some people say it's authenticity this, some say you can do it when you wake up in the morning, some say it's real easy, but I studied enough to know that there's 9 dimensions. I got 9 dimensions to my authenticity. I even have an authenticity assessment that I know some of you took. That assessment I've been working on for years. I mean, in fact, we're upgrading it right now. been working on it and try to figure out, how do you sell authenticity? How do you help people be authentic? Well, I have a whole system now. Number one, you got to listen to your inner voice. That's the voice that really is most important. That's where, you know, you're connected to some kind of creator that got you here. I have my name for him. You're my creator. I call my creator God. And that's how I got here. And I listen all the time to what I'm hearing, because that's how I know I'm authentic, if I'm connected with what that voice is saying to me. But I had to learn how to listen to that voice. And that's what I like to teach in my programs, how to listen to your authentic voice. And that's a minute. So stop. So I want you to do that and to practice that. You're going to practice it at home. But for right now, I want you to think about, what is your main topic? What is it you speak about? What is it you coach about? What is it you do in life that you are authentic about or want to be more authentic about? And I'm going to break you into break rooms. And Yuki, break it into 3 persons per room. So divide the numbers into 3 people per room, not counting me. And in the room, I want, we're going to give you 6 minutes in your room to meet each other, and each of you will go 1 minute on your topic. And you might want to record it if you've got your phone there or somewhere you can record it, because you'll see that you will say things maybe you didn't think. And when you get to do it in 5 minutes at home, you're going to say some things maybe that you thought about 20, 30 years ago, and haven't brought it back up. And when you do this regularly, stuff from your history will keep coming up, and it'll make a difference in your life. So you're clear? You're going to go into your break rooms, 3 per room. And when you get in your rooms, you're going to have 6 minutes. And you're going to, each person, you're going to meet each other briefly, say a bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you do. And then you're going to each take 1 minute, someone be a timer, and do 1 full 60 seconds on your topic. And everybody listen so you can give feedback of important points they may have said. And you may want to record yours, because you may say some things that you didn't realize you're going to say. And therefore you want to have them for your files or for at least your consciousness to say later. All right, so Yuki, you can go ahead and set up for the rooms, and we'll see you guys in a few. Okay, please put in the chat box how the experience was for you. Please share in the chat box what the experience was. I don't see any comments yet. Oh, maybe I need to change this here. Very useful. You're welcome. Interesting. Didn't finish all, but you get a chance to keep on. And diverse. Okay. So next time I'll give it a little bit more time. Okay. It was too short. Okay, sorry about that, guys. But we'll make it longer the next time we do. Great, great. So you're networking too. That's a wonderful thing. Well, so now you have the exercises and some sense. Here, ladies, and hopes, hearts and hope. You can think more deeply on how I present my gift. Yes, good for you. If either please stop talking, I want to continue the conversation. They're both fascinating. Great. Well, I'll have to be sure to build in some break rooms for the rest of the week. Absolutely. So let's look. Let me pull up your Ask Yummy. Did it again. Ask Yuki to pull up the homework, the inventory you're going to receive. So let me tell you that by noon today, you are going to receive an email that's going to have the recording of what we did today, and it's also going to have your inventory. And the inventory, you'll get one every day, is to go inventory of yourself, to go into yourself a little bit more. And the inventory you're going to get tonight is to take you deeper into the same activity we just did. So Yuki, will you put that up, please? The gibberish, that you're going to see this on the Facebook page, and you're going to put your comments on the Facebook page. But actually, what I want you to put up, Yuki, is the gibberish homework, the inventory that you did, day 1 inventory, so they can see what they're going to be getting, and they'll know what to expect. In the meantime, any questions you have about gibberish, about authentic voice, feedback on the exercise we just did, comments. It's almost 1 o'clock. We will be, I'm sorry, 12 o'clock Pacific time, which means 2 hours from when we finish the call. So within 2 hours, you will receive the recording of the call and some information regarding what you're going to do tonight. You're going to receive this document that Yuki has up now, which is the inventory. Every day you'll get an inventory, a page like this to give you what to do. So these are your instructions. And if you don't have a platform, then you're going to speak on something that would be helpful for you. So for example, the person that I was in the room with was been looking for a part-time job. It was just two of us, just she and myself. And she's looking for a part-time job and not sure how to find one. So I suggested to her that when she does this tonight, to speak in freely on where can I get a part-time job? What kind of part-time job can I get? I suggested to her to do what I've done in the past, which is mystery shopping and focus groups. And I've done very well with that to make ends meet when I was building my business and moving forward. So if you don't have a platform yet, what is your current challenge? What are you trying to get answers for? What are you seeking solutions for or new ideas about? Use that for your 5-minute gibberish that you're going to do for round 3. And you're going to talk about the thing that's near and dear to your heart and record it, because you may say things you don't remember afterwards and you want to know what those are. All right, thank you, Yuki. You can go back to the main screen. And you're also going to, I want to remind you also that there will be a prize tomorrow awarded to the person who we feel was the greatest participant. Linda's been taking notes in the chat box, and I guess you're going to save it, Linda, so we can review it. And also we'd like you to join our Facebook community if you haven't done that yet. On your Facebook community, what I want you to do is to post your comments about today's class and the gibberish that you're going to be doing at home. Let us know how it's working for you, what you may have discovered as you shared it. And I also want to ask you and suggest that you start a journal for this week, or a journal for your authentic voice journey. The inventories you're going to get for the other days, you can use as part of your journal, because you're going to fill in some blanks and do some reflective comments for yourself. But you could start today by sharing in your journal what you learned about yourself by speaking in gibberish, what you learned about where you're going and where you want to go. So if you're having trouble being fully engaged in the gibberish and you're holding on to the structure, I encourage you to let it go. Practice. Again, if you're uncomfortable, that means maybe you have really gotten into the manufactured life and you're not quite into your creative side. I encourage you to embrace that creative side. That's where answers come to any challenge that might be in your mind, in your heart, in your life. So I encourage you to do that. So Yuki put the link up for the Facebook. When you put your comments in the Facebook or share them in social media, put #NormusNuggets. If you learned anything or had any significant impact today that was shared about your authentic voice, #NormusNuggets. We'd appreciate you doing that. Thank you, Yuki. And let me just ask again if there are any questions. I've got 4 minutes left. I want to be very true to my 1 hour time frame and not overburden you and tax you. But we do have time to answer any questions. Or Linda, if you have any comments you'd like to share, please do that as well. Or Yuki, if you want to share any directions that I might not have gotten direct. And Shelly is not on Facebook. Yuki, I'm gonna let you answer that question from Shelly.
I am not on Facebook or Instagram and do not want to create an account there. Is there anywhere else I can post comments? Okay, well, I'll see what I can do on that, Shelly, and probably you can send me your email privately so that I can get back to you on where you can send your info or your answers to our inventories, okay?
So you can put your email address on the chat in the chat box, please. You probably not on LinkedIn either, Shelley. I'm guessing if you're not on the others, maybe not on LinkedIn either. So encourage you to. And then the other thing you can do if you don't, then you can post them first thing tomorrow morning. They won't count for the game participation, but they'll count for the next day's game. How's that? So you can do that if you miss that, if you're not able to put them on that. So there you go. So any questions? How was today for you? Any feedback on today? Any ahas or eye openers that showed up today so far on our first day? Refreshing. Thank you, Deborah. And anybody else? Love the gibberish. Thank you. You're welcome, Fiona. My pleasure. Glad you got that. Take you guys back a few decades, huh? Remind you what it was like to be in the gibberish state of mind. So, but I bet you had no idea that gibberish would be so valuable for you. And refreshing, thank you. Can't wait to practice. Well, have fun with it. By all means, have fun with it. Don't get out in your head with it. Don't try to think your way through it. Let your creative juices flow. Let your spirit speak to you. Authentic voice is allowing your spirit voice to speak to your human voice. It's opening up the channels and allowing spirit to come in. So do as much playfulness with it as you can. Play with it, practice with it. It is fun. And I'm glad you love playing. And also, if you have any children in your home, or even your spouse, does your spouse need to loosen up a little bit? Try a little gibberish. Try the dinner table tonight. Wouldn't that be different? Have fun with it. We go back to being the childish fun that life's about, that life can be about, rather than the manufactured structure that we're so often led to be. So if you did get here late, know that you will get the recording. It will get to you within about 2 hours. And the recording will be sent every single day. So if you miss any day, the recording is coming. So be comfortable with that. So Lynn, I'm glad you're hooked. Lynn says she was concerned that that I might gain anything from in this group, but knowing that I used to on the Speakers Bureau plus the gibberish got you hooked. I like to get people hooked, but we're just getting started. We're going to have more fun tomorrow. And I got a special treat for you on Wednesday, and then we have gifts every day. So be sure to tune in. You get far more value on live than you do on the recording. But if you can't make it, just know the recording is coming. So I want to thank you. Yes.
One comment.
Yes,
I do have one comment. We are sending reminder emails and then the emails after. So there's several emails. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody checks their spam folders or that you whitelist our emails so that you don't miss any of our communications.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate that. Thank you, Yuki and Linda, for your assistance, and thank you all for your attendance. And you'll get in 2 hours the information, and I will see you next morning, same time. Take that challenge and do it. Gibberish. I'll see you later. Bye.